Okay, let's jump into our deep dive today. We're looking at Proverbs chapter 21.
Right. And this chapter, it's full of these really sharp observations about, well, life, human nature, wisdom, folly.
Yeah, that doesn't pull punches.
Yeah,
And it looks at things through a pretty specific lens, wouldn't you say?
absolutely. It starts right off challenging how we see ourselves. You know, the king's heart isn't in the Lord's hand, directed like water.
Mm-hmm. Total direction.
But then, almost the next breath, it says, okay, our ways seem right to us, but it's the Lord who actually weighs the heart.
Ah, so it sets up that tension immediately. Our view versus, well, a higher perspective.
Exactly. It questions our self-justification right from the get-go.
And it follows that up quickly with a core value, doesn't it? Doing what's right and just. That's more acceptable than sacrifice.
Precisely. It's grounding things in action, in fairness. Substance over, just the ritual.
That seems key. Practical, tangible stuff.
Yeah, and that focus on real-world results, it just runs right through the chapter. It keeps showing you these stark contrasts.
Like what jumps out?
Well, think about planning versus just like rushing in. It says, the plans of the diligent lead surely to advantage. Makes sense. But everyone who is hasty comes surely to poverty. It's not just slow versus fast.
No, it's about what being deliberate.
Right. Careful planning, thinking things through. That builds something lasting. Rushing ahead without that forethought, it suggests that almost guarantees failure.
Okay, and it links how you get something to what happens with it, too.
Yeah.
Like getting rich through lying.
Yeah, it calls that a fleeting vapor and a deadly snare.
A deadly snare. Wow.
So it suggests wealth like that isn't just, morally questionable, but it's unstable, dangerous even, could trap you.
It's not just about actions either, is it? It gets into our internal states, the sluggard.
Mm-hmm. Their craving ruins them because, well, their hands refuse to work. It's an internal thing, a failure of will.
The desire's there, but not the action.
Exactly. And it contrasts that with the upright, whose conduct is noticed, while the wicked path is called devious, destructive.
And these paths, they affect others too. The chapter makes that really clear. There's that really vivid line about the quarrelsome wife.
Oh, yeah. Better to live on a corner of the roof.
Or a desert. It says it twice, basically.
Right. It's such a strong image. It drives home how incredibly destructive constant conflict in relationships is. Like, peace at home isn't a luxury, it's fundamental.
So fundamental that living on the roof seems better.
Apparently so. It
Man.
really highlights the internal cost of all that external strife.
And it also touches on how we treat the poor, the vulnerable.
It does. If you ignore the cry of the poor, the warning is pretty stark. You'll cry out yourself later and, well, you won't be answered.
Direct consequence. Like a principle of reciprocity baked into things.
Seems that way. Compassion, or the lack of it, has real effects down the line.
So when you put it all together, Proverbs 21 gives us these really potent images, doesn't it? The king's heart, justice, diligence, the danger of deceit, conflict, how we treat the poor.
Mm-hmm. The wicked versus the upright. It's a whole collection of principles about our choices and sort of the ripple effects they have in finances, relationships, everything.
Timeless stuff, really.
Yeah. And remember how it started and how it ends. It frames all this practical wisdom with this ultimate reality.
Which is?
That ultimately there's no wisdom, no insight, no plan that can succeed against the Lord. Victory rests with the Lord, even if the horse is ready for battle.
Ah, right.
Yeah.
So it brings it back to that higher perspective.
Exactly. All the human striving and outcomes happen within that larger context.
Which leaves you with a really interesting point to chew on, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, the chapter clearly values human effort. Diligence brings profit, it says. Guard your mouth, prepare the horse, take action, plan things.
Right. It definitely encourages responsible action.
But then it bookends it with this idea that ultimately no plan prevails against the Lord and victory is from him. So how do those two things sit together? How does this text see diligent human effort coexisting with this ultimate divine sovereignty that can override any plan?
That's the tension, isn't it?
Yeah, it's something to really think about as you reflect on Proverbs 21. Where does our planning fit if the ultimate outcome rests elsewhere? Worth pondering.